And we are back to the channel where we talk about everything US markets, US headlines, and we keep it fun. We're also going to get into some of the chart patterns, some of the indicators and fundamentals, and as well as some of the analysis with the indicators as well. So that's all up for grabs today. Now, some of the things that we're going to talk about in the headlines are, just to name a few, Palantir. Palantir is in the news right now. Because why are they in the news? Well, Palantir's technology gives the West a critical edge in the Middle East, according to the CEO, Alex Karp. A little bit about them. For example, it says that AI is giving the US an edge. And, well, we'll talk about Palantir and what their company is doing right now. Also, in store for this stream, we're going to talk about Google. Why are we going to talk about Google? Well, because Google is going to bring more AI to navigation with Ask Maps feature that lets users ask complex questions. So launching a new chatbot feature inside the most popular apps so they can have personalized questions. Yes, we'll talk about them coming up. Also, Rivian. Rivian has a crucial R2 EV launch to begin with, $58,000 model in the spring. Now, why is this crucial? Because they've been losing money. For example, they've been touting less expensive entry for the models, but right now the company has lost billions and sees waning demand for the current vehicles, their SUV, pickup, and electric delivery van. So that's all coming up here at Rivian. Also, we're going to talk about here Dick's Sporting Goods. Why are we talking about Dick's? Because they have a weak profit guidance. Had a very good holiday season, and they're talking about a Foot Locker merger, and they expect kind of a weak 2026. Yes. Also, we have NVIDIA. NVIDIA is coming up here. Why? Because NVIDIA just backed a startup called Sintel Photonics that starts testing laser chips with its customers. That's coming up as well. Also, yes. Yeah, so that's coming up. So let's get right into it, starting with Palantir, okay? So, again, this is not a script, these are my notes. I take copious amounts of notes every day. I spend a lot of time doing it, so hope you enjoy it. Palantir. Palantir's technology gives the West a critical edge in the Middle East, according to the CEO. And Palantir's Maven is a real-time artificial intelligence surveillance capability that leverages satellite imagery. The platform was also used in Venezuela. Just to give you an update, 3 Amazon data centers were bombed last week in the Middle East, and Palantir is known for its defense technology. Commercial business is also booming. Commercial revenue jumped 137%. Let me repeat that. The commercial revenue jumped 137% in the fourth quarter to $507 billion. With the shares up 12% just this month. That's Palantir. So let's take a look at them first, okay? So this is the 1 minute chart, okay, on TradingView if you're watching from home. And also, let me put this on Palantir. Palantir, right here, boom. Okay, let me adjust the charts a little bit more right here. There's Palantir, that's the 1 minute. And here is, let me adjust the timing of this chart a little bit. Here. This is the Palantir 1 day Palantir right here. And let me adjust this chart a little bit more to make it make more sense. This is the 1 day time frame, okay? And sometimes you can see patterns better on the 1 day, sometimes you can see them better on the 1 minute. But there we go. Okay, so let's start with the 1 day. Looking at Palantir, let me get you started off with some of the indicators. For example, right here, you can see this is the, see that arrow right behind me? That's the RSI, that's the relative strength index. That's the 70 line. And right here, that's the 30 line, okay? That's the, this is what they call overbought, and this is what they call oversold. But I don't want you to focus in on that because For example, it can go way overbought or way oversold before ever market correction comes down or market correction comes up. That's why you see right here, this is way overbought, but it stays up there for a while, right? And the same thing can happen with it when it's oversold too. But right now, if you notice right here, Palantir sitting there at 55.56, 55.56 right there on the RSI, so it's pretty neutral. Now let's see what that does to the value of the chart, okay? Right here, 55.56, boom, right there. So it's stabilized, it's very neutral right there. And let's see, let me give you this is also, let me tell you about the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence. For all of you joining, welcome. This is the channel where we're talking about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines. Luke, it's good to have you back. Nice to see you. This is not a sales channel. It's not a persuasive channel. We're here just to give you some of the information, and then you can use the information as you like. So if there's a special ticker or something that you want to see, let me know. And here, this is the moving average convergence divergence right there, MACD. And what that basically means, to keep it super simple, is that when that blue MACD line crosses the signal line going up, the price chart here goes up. And then right here, when it crosses right here, crosses the signal line right here going down, the price chart goes down, as you can see right here, okay? Now that's that. Let me give you some other ideas here. Now let's go into the chart patterns. Let me see if I can give you some chart patterns. Actually, here's a small one. Again, this is on just the timing. If you want to see different patterns, let's see. Got it. At D8ND, trading view is crazy. 100 lost it. Yes, got it. It went in another and lost currencies in like 5 minutes. Got it. Yes. The market is wild, that's for sure. Thanks for the comments. And at KEALIPUU 780, hello to you too. Welcome to the channel. Let me know if you have a ticker or something that you would like me to analyze. And okay, so here's the first one. Looking at Palantir, you have a double bottom right here. Bang, bang. You see how right there it comes down once, twice, and then boom, it changes and goes up, right? That's what a double bottom is supposed to do. And so how far will this go up? Well, that's the pattern just predicts that it will go up, but how far, that's something you have to determine on your own, okay? Now let's go right here for another one. Again, Palantir. If you go right here, you will see this one. Let me put this in my green crayon. Here's the head, left shoulder, right shoulder, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then here's your neckline. Okay, this one doesn't break out because a head and shoulder, a normal one, is supposed to go down. It's supposed to break out and go down, but you see it doesn't go down. So that's why this is a head and shoulder without a breakout pattern. Okay, now over here, this is a reverse. Let me put this. Reverse head and shoulders. Here's your reverse head. Here's your shoulder. Here's your shoulder. See that? Reverse head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Then here is your neckline, and you can see that right there. And here's your breakout going up. Okay. Welcome to everyone joining. Let me know if you have a question or comment. But that's the reverse head and shoulders. Let me see if I can get you another chart pattern really quick. And well, that's enough for now. That's Palantir. One thing I also want to show you right here is that these trade volume bars. So here's a trade volume bar. Here it is a little bit, and here's another one. Look at these. You see these arrows? The bar is higher here because there's more price action here. The bar is higher here because there's more price action here. A lot of times you'll have more trade volume when there's more price action. People trade more when there's more price action, if you see that. Yeah, and over here, if you look over here on TradingView, there'll be some, that's where you get some live updates, some news. For example, it says Palantir and NVIDIA want to be the default AI infrastructure for governments. So there's that. And let's go down here. Volume-wise, right now we're at 54.4 million. Market cap is 367 billion. And earnings, if we go here to earnings, let's go look at the earnings. So right now, you'll see there's quarterly and there's annually, right? So quarterly is sitting here. Again, you don't have to look at quarterly that much because it's such a short time period. It doesn't tell you that much. But if you're a short-term strategy person, this could be helpful. So when you see the blue bar is higher than the gray bar. So that means it's earned more than what Wall Street expected it to. Same thing with this one. It earned more than Wall Street expected it to, and same thing with Q2. So on the quarter, Palantir is looking good. Click that annual button and you'll see 2025 annually. Palantir beat the earnings expectations as well. The same thing over here with 2024, and same thing here with 2023. 2023 equaled it, 2024 beat it. So that's that. So you can summarize to say overall as a whole, Palantir the last 3 years either equaled or beat earnings expectations. Okay. Now, how do the earnings compare to some of the profits and incomes? Okay. Hit the annual button right there, and you'll see right here behind me, last 3 years, 2023, 2024, 2025, all of them are in the green, looking good. That's revenue, profit, income, yes. Now, it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes you have companies where the profit's good, but the earnings are not, or vice versa. So that's why you want to take a look at all the information there, okay? So that's Palantir. Sometimes people do like to look at the forecast right here, but I generally do not. The forecast doesn't tell you that much, but yeah, there it is. Now, let's take a look at the next one. Again, this is not a script, this is my notes for the day. Let's take a look at Google. Why are we looking at Google? Google brings more AI to navigation with Ask Maps. This is a feature that lets users ask complex questions. Let's get right into this. So it says right here, Google is asking its Gemini AI technology to new feature in its Maps service as the company pushes its artificial intelligence tools deeper into expansive product portfolio. Okay, welcome everyone. Rico, how are you? The new button Ask Maps will feature a chatbot that allows users to ask complex questions outside of typical navigation topics. Okay, users can now ask questions like, my phone is dying, where I can charge it without having to wait in line, where can I charge it, etc. But here, the popular Maps app personalizes questions with more than 2 billion users. Google Maps is the world's top navigation app. It's 20 years old, and Google Maps makes money by selling ads and promoted placement to businesses. It also charges for its maps, APIs, location data. So that's just a little bit about that. Google Maps is fundamentally changing what a map can do. Okay, so let's take a look here at Google. Google. One second, this is the 1 day chart right here, and this is the 1 minute chart right here. And so why do you have 1 day? Why do you have 1 minute? Because different charts show up on different times, and you can also compare the times to see what you want. Now, for example, let's go to the, this is the 1 minute, and this is Google. And again, we talked about, now let's go to the 1 day. This is 1 day, and this is Google. The RSI for this is sitting here at 42, okay? 42, remember, is pretty neutral. Again, that's the RSI right there. Now, also we talked about how the RSI can go way overbought right here, like that. Way overbought, it's at 88 right now before it ever actually market corrects. So that's why I say the 70 line is just a guide. You can go way above that before it corrects and comes down. Now, let's talk about this. This is the 1 day. Give me something else. Okay, here's the 1 day. Now, looking at the 1 day, you'll see kind of right here. This looks like to me a double bottom. You see how right here, bang, bang. Those two come down to about the same place. That's what we call a double bottom, and then you see it go up, right? Again, that's a double bottom because it comes down to about the same place. And for example, here, this is kind of a slanted head and shoulders. For example, what do I mean by that? Here's your shoulders, here's your, or that's your head. Here's your head, here's your shoulders, but this is a slanted neckline. You see how it's slanted? It's not just straight up neckline like that, it's a slanted one. So when you see that head and shoulders, yes, this one does break out and go down, but it's not, the shoulder line doesn't always need to be square. Sometimes it can be different. And let me show you a different one here. Here's also another one. You can see right here, or maybe it's difficult to see. Here's your head, here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, there's your neckline, and then bang, it breaks out and goes down. And also, here is what it looks like. Let's see. Let's go to the 1 minute, see what things we can see in the 1 minute. Right. Because the 1 minute gives you different charts, or different times, so you can see different patterns. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But there's that. Okay, again, that was Palantir, and let me show you this. Well, one thing I want you to notice that again, right here, when you have right here, let me show you. Here is, you see these volume bars right here and right here. There's more volume bars. You see those, how high they are, those volume bars? That means there's more trade volume right there. Oftentimes there's more trade volume because there's more price action there, right? So bear that in mind. Also, you see here and here, more trade volume, yeah? Yeah, so now let's go here to the earnings. Volume-wise, we're at 15.6 million. Market cap is at 3.6 trillion. And earnings-wise, right here, if you look at the earnings, again, you have the quarterly and the annually. Quarterly, it's at quarterly, right there, the blue bar is higher. So quarterly for Google, Q4, Q3, and Q2, see the blue bars were higher. So the received earnings are actually higher than the expectations, which is good. It looks like a strong, that's one of the things that helps it look like a strong company, is it's getting good earnings, right? Now annually, for example, 2025, 2024, 2023, it's basically the same thing. It looks strong overall as a year for the earnings. That means as a year, they earn more than they were expected to by Wall Street. So they beat Wall Street's estimates, they beat Wall Street's predictions. So makes them look stronger. Let's go over here to statements. 1 second as I grab some water. Now, on the statements, total revenue, profit, income, etc. That's what we're looking at, and you want to always have that on annually, okay? Now, as you look at total revenue for the last 3 years, look behind me, all three of those, 2023, 2024, and 2025, all 3 years, the revenue, gross profit, operating income, and net income were all green, all looking good, okay? So there's that, bear that in mind. It doesn't always work out that way, but for this case, we looked at Google, and we just looked at Palantir, and both of them were like that, so yeah. Again, if you're just jumping on and you're wondering what you walked into, this is the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and we analyze them here on TradingView. It's an educational channel. We don't suggest, we don't try to sell. So enjoy the ride. Here we go. So that was Google. Also, back to the chart here. We're going to talk about Rivian. Why are we going to talk about Rivian? Because right now is a crucial time for Rivian. Ernesto, thank you very much for the likes. Hope you're enjoying it. Rivian's crucial EV launch to begin with a $58,000 model in spring. This R2 mid-sized vehicle is considered a make or break moment for Rivian after the company has lost billions and sees a waning demand for its current vehicles. Its SUV, its pickup, its electric delivery van. Rivian's guidance includes pre-tax losses between 1.8 billion and 2.1 billion and a capex between 1.95 billion and 2.05 billion, and that compares with the 2.1 billion in losses and 1.7 billion in capex last year. So again, yeah, this is a crucial time for Rivian, and that's why it's in the headlines right now. So let's take a look at them, okay? Right here, let's go to Rivian. This is the 1 minute chart. Rivian Automotive, and here, this is the 1 day chart. Rivian right there. Okay, now here, let's go to move this over a little bit so you can see it. Now, right now, again, we talked about the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, right here. 47, you're looking at 47 for an RSI right there. That tells you that it's very, very neutral. Remember, let me show you, the neutral box, the neutral area is right in here, basically between around 55 to 45 in this area. This is the neutral area, and you'll also be able to see that reflected in the price chart. I'll give you an example of that later. But yes, here we go. So, as we're looking here on the 1 day, let me give you some chart patterns to pull out of this. So Rivian, right here, here's your head, here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, here's your neckline breakout going down, and then right over, here's another one on Rivian. This one's easier to see. Here's your head right here, here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, here's your neckline breakout, and just a little bit going down. It doesn't break out very much, but the chart pattern is there just the same, okay? Here also, you have another, here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then there's your neckline there. So again, they don't break out much, but they do break out a little. I just want you to be aware of the chart patterns so that you can see them on your own, okay? And then here, over here, the same thing. See, some charts have a lot of double tops in the bottom, some charts have a lot of head and shoulders. This one actually has a lot of head and shoulders. You can see this one right here, right there, okay? There's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and just a small little breakout there. And yes, lots of heads and shoulders in this chart here. Let me show you this. You can kind of see. Let me break this down a little bit further. Right here. Again, here's the head, here's the left shoulder, and right shoulder. Now, why is this an interesting one? Because that allows you to see, okay, if you have this pattern, then you have an idea that it might break out and go down, and there it does. Hello, Tommy. Greetings. Gus, Alfonso, welcome to the channel. We're talking about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and we try to make it fun and interesting. Right now, we're doing the technicals on Rivian. We'll go into the fundamentals here pretty soon. But yeah, just doing some chart patterns on Rivian real quick. And here is a double top. Let me circle this. There's your double top, and then bang, breaks out and goes down. And right here, let me adjust this a little bit. Change this. Yeah, you can see sometimes when you change, now you can see the patterns a little bit better maybe. But yeah, this is Rivian, and you can sometimes see here, here's another double top, right here. Oh, sorry, right there, see that? Double top, and then it goes down, yes. Now let's go over here. Let's go over here to the fundamentals. You see, I want to also see this, see these volume bars, the volume bars. The volume bars, as you can see, those bars right there, they get higher when there's more price action in the price chart. So be aware of that, okay? So news, Rivian launched the R2 with new software and electrical architecture to boost efficiency and some of the margins. The lower price trims from 2027, entry level target about $45,000. The volume right now is at 37.3 million. Market cap is at 18.9 billion. And then here is the earnings report for Rivian. If you're looking at the quarter, right here, it's the quarters Q3 and Q4 were less negative than they were predicted to be. So in that regard, they did better than expectations. Q3 was more negative than it was supposed to be, so it didn't do as well as it was supposed to. Funny name, thank you for the likes. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're enjoying it. Now, annually, if you click on the annual button, you see 2025. 2025 again, it was less negative than it was supposed to be. So 2025 as a whole beat the Wall Street analyst prediction. Same thing here with 2024. Reported was less negative than it was estimated, so 2024 beat the predictions. 2023 also, it was less negative than the Wall Street analysts predicted. So again, there you have 3 years where even though it was negative, it was better than predicted. So it beat the Wall Street analyst predictions. Now, again, what does that tell you? Well, that just tells you that there's money coming in, but how does it relate with, for example, revenue, profit, and income? Well, again, if you're Rivian, last 3 years were better, because if you can, as you can see right here, 2023, 2024, and 2025, all 3 years were green with revenue, profit, and income. Now, even though hold on one second. Even though right here, even though the earnings were in the negative, they were less negative than they were supposed to be from the Wall Street perspective. So that's why it looks good from that side. But yeah, that's Rivian. Again, they have a lot of work to do. Let's go to Dick's Sporting Goods. Dun, dun, dun. Where is them? Yeah. Now, why are we looking at Dick's Sporting Goods? Because they're in the news right now because they issued a weak profit guidance for 2026, and they're talking about a merger with Foot Locker, etc. So, Dick's Sporting Goods, they expect a weak 2026. However, their holiday season saw a better than expected holiday season. So it expects Foot Locker to get back to both profit and sales growth during the year, but it's still doing the work of clearing through stale inventory. Yeah. So here we go. Dick's posted a net income of 128.3 million, a 57% decline from 299.9 million, or $3.62 per share, excluding the one-time items. And the sales rose to 6.23 billion, up from 3.89 billion a year earlier. Okay, and Dick's acquired Foot Locker in a $2.5 billion deal. And let's see. Hold on, I missed the question. Lonely, how is that? Send info in private. Okay, how is lonely? How is what? And send what info in private? Let me know what you're talking about. Sorry, did I miss an earlier message? I'm not sure. But anyway, if you're wondering where I am, I'm on the article from CNBC talking about where is it, right here? If you can see right there, the Dick's Sporting Goods, this article. So yeah, that's where I'm getting this information. So yeah, Dick's acquired the Foot Locker in a $2.5 billion deal, and combined entity is now one of the largest distributions of products from the key athletic brands like Nike, Adidas, and New Balance. The merger gave Dick's with a new type of customer. It allowed it to expand its international presence, and it gave it more negotiating power with brands at a time when athletic wear companies are less reliant on wholesalers. Yeah, and the acquisition led to a 60% increase in sales during the fiscal fourth quarter. It also saddled Dick's with a business that underperformed for years and earns most of its revenue from a sprawling store footprint, heavily concentrated in the malls. Yeah, so that's Dick's. So let's go ahead and look up Dick's right now. Yes, here we go. Dick's Sporting Goods. Here's this one, and that's the 1 minute chart. And here is hold on, let me erase this. Welcome to everyone who's joining. This is the channel where we're talking about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and right now we're breaking down some of the companies that are in the headlines on TradingView. If you're wondering, yes, that's where we're at right now. TradingView, and let me move this down a little bit right here. There we go. So here we are, Dick's Sporting Goods. This is the 1 day time frame. This is the 1 minute time frame. You can look at them both to see different patterns. Yes. And then, okay. So just to, for example, right here, again, this is the RSI right there. That's the 70 line. This is the 30 line right here. That's the 30 line right there, and you'll see that today, right now, this is 45 right there. That's on the 45. So 45, remember, is pretty neutral. Between 45 and 55 on the RSI is pretty neutral. And let me spread this out a little bit. You'll see right here. This is a good one. This is kind of an example of, remember I talked about consolidation, continuation. You have the invisible ceiling, invisible floor. Right here. So invisible ceiling, invisible floor, or you can call it the resistance and the support. Continuation, consolidation, you see it right here too. Bang. So what does that mean? It's neither going up, neither going down. It's just like a ping pong ball going back and forth. Okay, and here, back here, this one. Here's your bottom right here. Here's your bottom. That's a double bottom, and you see it breaks out and does go up. Sometimes they don't always break out, but this one does. The breakout and an uptrend right there. Okay. And then also here, you can see this one right here. Here's the double bottom right there, and then there's the breakout going up right there. Okay. And let me show you this one. Oh, this one kind of jumps out at me too. It's not as good, but here's the head. You can see the head right there with my green crayon. Here's the left shoulder right here. Here's the right shoulder, and then there's the neckline breakout. It's kind of a slanted diagonal neckline, but still it's a Jennifer Bauer. Yes, GM. Okay, I got you. GM. So you want me to look up GM, right? Dun, dun, dun. No problem. Thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. Let me make a note of that real quick. After this, we'll do GM. Now, let me know, is there a reason you want GM? How do you know when to enter? Oh, West Coast. I was, for example, on this live stream, the TikTok algorithm is so tight. There's certain things I can and cannot say, but like advice, recommendations, things like that. Even like, you know, when to enter, when not to enter. I can't say stuff like that during the stream. because the algorithm will pick it up and restrict or ding the channel. But if you want, you can send me a message. But what I can do here on the live stream is I can just share the information with you, and then you can make your own decisions with the information I present with you. That's the best I can do. We West Coast a lot. So again, this is not a sales channel or a persuasive channel, one of those things. Sorry, I can't help you more. We West Coast a lot, but I'll give you the information. We West Coast a lot, if you have a ticker that you want me to look up, like Jennifer just asked me about GM, I can give you the information about the analysis here on TradingView, but that's the best I can do. If you want to send me a message for more, I'll tell my husband, Jennifer. Okay, there you go. Let me finish here with Dick's Sporting Goods, and then we'll go to GM, okay? My get husband, okay. Jennifer, okay, we West Coast a lot. Let's see. Again, this is for publicly traded U.S. companies, so I assume that you're going to ask me about publicly traded U.S. companies, right? And okay, I'll look those up in just a minute. There we go. And welcome to everyone who's joining in. So here we are at Dick's Sporting Goods. I'll finish this up and then get to the tickers that you asked about. Here we go. And for example, we go over here some more. You will see right here. Here's another. You have the bottom here and the bottom here, and that represents the double bottom. So yes, it breaks out and goes up right there. And then right here, if we zoom out on this, zoom out on that, you see here's a double top right there, and then bang, it goes down. It changes, when you zoom in and zoom out, it changes what you can see and how they look. So I encourage you to zoom in and zoom out. This is on the 1 day chart. You can also put it on the 1 minute chart to see how it looks, things like that, boom, etc. And then, for example, yes, okay. Now let's go back over here to the beginning. And one thing I also want to show you right here in the beginning is you see the bars here. Some places they go up higher. These are the trading volume bars. So trading volume bars, bang, bang, bang. These trading volume bars, when they're higher there, they usually represent more price action in the price chart right there. So keep that in mind. And right here, we go here to volume. It's at 3.42 million right now. Market cap is at 17.78 billion. And let's go here to some of the earnings, okay? Okay, earnings. So here you have the quarterly and you have the annually. It depends on what your strategy is. If you're looking more long-term, annually is more important to you, but if you have a short-term strategy, then quarterly might be interesting for you. Right here, Q4, the blue bar is higher than the gray bar. So the blue bar represents what was actually received in earnings. Q3, earnings was less than expected, so that represents a weak quarter for earnings. And then Q2 represents the earnings were higher than expected, so Q2, yeah, it looks good on the quarter. So you have a couple bad quarters on the year, but overall, for the year is higher than expected, so that's how that works. So even if you have 1 or 2 bad quarters, overall you can have a good year, just like you see there, 2024, also higher than expected for earnings as a year. Same thing here with 2023, higher than expected as the year. Now, how did the earnings compare with some of the profits, revenues, and income? Well, for example, looking here at 2025, the operating income, pre-tax income, and net income was all negative in the red. However, total revenue and gross profit were green in the profit right there. Now it changes a lot in 2024. Everything is positive and green in 2024. However, if you look back at 2023, the operating income, the pre-tax income, and operating income and pre-tax income were negative in the red, but everything else, the revenue, gross profit, and net income were green, looking good. Now let's go to the one that you requested, Jennifer, I think it was. Back to the charts here. Okay. Yes, GM. Okay, there's General Motors, and that's the 1 minute chart. Let me adjust this a little bit. And then here's the 1 day chart, and I'll put this on GM. Okay, 1 second here. Okay. And there's, let me change. Okay, here's GM, and this is the 1 day chart. Let me show you right now. For example, the RSI is dropping all the way down to right here at 33. It's right behind me. Jennifer, if you're still there, this is the one you asked about. You can see this came all the way down from a high. The RSI jumped up here at about 83, so it was very, very overbought, which represents, you see up here this price chart, bang, here is the bull chart, okay? That's why I have a bull sitting right here. This is the bull just charging up there. But what goes up does sometimes come down, and then bang, you see it come down, and that's where it represents here on the RSI. You have the raging bull going up, and then you have the bear just going down. Trying to keep it fun here, have some fun with you guys, and yeah. So there's that. Now, what's one of the things that you could see right here? This, when you spread this out, it looks a little bit like a head and shoulders. You see the head right here, right there, and then here's the left shoulder, and then here's the right shoulder, and then there's the neckline, and then there's the neckline with the breakout going down. So head and shoulders, and this one breaks out and does go down, and that's why you see that happening. Yes. Alex Vanderwire, Portobello is up 3.5%. Okay. Portobello, let's see. Portobello. Is that, let's see. Do you have a question, or is that just a comment, or do you want me to look up a ticker for you? Let me know. Yeah. Thanks for the message. And then, okay, so here's GM, and like I said, right now the RSI is very, very. It's getting to be down to 33, so watch that. And then let me take you over here to some of these chart patterns. I just showed you the head and shoulders right there, and if you see right here, this is kind of the reverse. Here's your reverse head. Here's your left shoulder right here, and then here's your right shoulder, and there's your neckline. Bang! It goes up right there. And then let's go over here. Oh, also sometimes these don't really break out that much, but here's another. If you go right here, here's your reverse head, here's your left shoulder, and diagonal shoulder neckline right there. Reverse diagonal neckline, and then it goes up right there. And also the same thing. This one has a lot of head and shoulders in it, and this is on the 1 day time frame. If we change to the 1 minute, you would probably see some different patterns show up. That's why you change the time frame, so you can compare how the patterns work. Yes. Here you go. Dun. Okay, here's another one for you. Here's your head, left shoulder, and your right shoulder. There's your neckline, and then the breakout going down. You see how that one breaks out and goes down? Yes. So there's a couple chart patterns for you. GM has got a lot of head and shoulders on it right there. Other chart patterns will have a lot of double tops and double bottoms. Just keep that in mind. Different charts have a lot of different patterns. Now let's go here to the fundamentals over here. Again, I want you to keep this in mind. You see right here, a lot of the trading volume. There's again more trading volume when you have more price action right there. GM posted about 7.6 billion in EV related charges and warned more write-downs are likely. In January, it took a separate $66 billion hit, including a $4.2 billion cash charge for supplier contract cancellations. Volume right now is at 7.3 million. Market cap is at 66 billion. Let's go to the earnings side of it. Again, it depends on what you're looking for. There's both quarterly and annually. Welcome everyone to the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets and U.S. headlines. We're looking at General Motors right now. Quarterly, you can see that the last 3 quarters, all of them beat the expectations. You see the blue earnings bar is higher than the expectations bar. Annually, right here, 2025 beat expectations for the year. Same things with 2024. Same things with 2023 right here. All of them beat expectations. And so that looks good for the earnings side for GM. But how does that differentiate between the earnings and some of the profits and income? Well, you can see, even though they had good earnings, the revenue and the profits were not always the same. Look behind me, there's a lot of red right there. So 2025 actually was terrible for revenue, profit, and income. It was all negative, all in the red. However, 2024, revenue, gross profit, income, that was green, looking good, but pre-tax income and net income were negative in the red. Looking at 2023, the only thing that was good that year was the net income and total revenue. Otherwise, your gross profit, operating income, and pre-tax income was all in the red, all negative. So that's GM. I hopefully, Jennifer, that was helpful, interesting. If there's other tickers you have, other questions, just be sure to drop it in the comments. Now, let's see. Okay. Yeah, someone asked me about the QQQ and IWM. Really, I only do publicly traded U.S. companies, U.S. tickers. So I think it was something West Coast. Whoever it was that asked about those, if you have a publicly traded U.S. company ticker that you want to ask me about, go ahead. But the ones you gave me, I don't really do. But now, if we go back here to some of the other news, we talked about Rivian, we talked about Dick's Sporting Goods. I also want to tell you about NVDA. And stranger to the news, NVIDIA, you can see the headlines, they're backing a startup called Sintel Photonics. They start testing laser chips with customers. A little bit about this one. They're going to start testing laser chips, used pulse light, not electric signals, and it could ease the task of linking the chips together to form one big larger computer. Now let me look this up. What is Sintel Photonics? Sintel Photonics, just a little bit more info about that. Sintel Photonics is a French fabless semiconductor company backed by NVIDIA that develops high-speed integrated photonic circuits for AI data centers and high-performance computing. They are known for manufacturing the world's first single chip, dense multi-wave laser source, Leaf Light, that combines, NVIDIA had an AI show this weekend. Oh, cool, we West Coast, thank you for that. Interesting. So I guess that tells me that you are an NVIDIA fan. What else are you a fan of? Let me know. Thanks. And yeah, so they're known for manufacturing the world's first single chip, dense multi-wave laser source, Leaf Light, that combines active laser components with silicone wavelengths, enabling superior speed. Interesting. Wow. So the technology is this: they integrate this indium phosphide onto the silicon photonic circuits with standard manufacturing. This leaf-like thing is a single chip dense wavelength light engine designed to feed AI data centers and co-package optics with high density optical fiber connectivity. Dang, that's a mouthful. Their technology is designed for 5G data centers and AI infrastructure, reducing the power consumption and size of optical interconnects. Okay. And okay, that's a little bit about Scintilla Photonics. Now, let's take a look at NVIDIA. Here is NVIDIA on the trading view. NVIDIA right there. That's the 1 minute, and here is NVIDIA Corporation on the one day. Okay. And on the 1 day, let me change the timing on this a little bit. Let's see that better right here. Okay, so looking here on the 1 day chart, let me move this over. Right here, you'll see 50. Right there, the RSI is sitting at 50. Very, very neutral, as you'll see right here. And you see it's very neutral right there. It's also very, very neutral up there in the price chart. Again, that's the continuation, the consolidation, the invisible ceiling, the invisible support, etc. For all of you joining, welcome, welcome. This is the educational channel. We're talking about everything U.S. markets and headlines. Here is what you can see here is basically, here's the head, here's the left shoulder, right shoulder. There's a head and shoulders that doesn't really break out. Again, this is on the NVIDIA price chart, and right here, you can basically see here, this is a, here's one bottom, here's two bottoms. That's the double bottom right there. And the same thing over here. Here's one bottom, here's another bottom, double bottom right there, okay? And then also see on GM, we saw there was a lot of head and shoulders. On this one, there's a lot of double tops and double bottoms. Right here, here's a double top, right there. Here's your double top, here's your double bottom, okay? And and here's your double top right there. And then here again, if you zoom out, you'll see a double top right here. If you zoom out, you see a double top right there, okay? And yeah, so there's some chart patterns for you for NVIDIA. That's the 1 day. If you look over here at the 1 minute, again, you'll see different chart patterns possibly. That's why you put it on 2 different times, because different things will emerge in different times, so you can kind of compare them that way, all right? Now, one thing I want you to see is this. Again, here, going back to the beginning, the RSI, like I told you, can be very overbought. Like I said right there, before every market correction goes down. And here we go. And same thing over here. There's your overbought for a while before every market correction comes down. So be aware of that. That's why I say the RSI is just a guide. Don't take it for face value. And then here, yeah. Also be aware, you can see the volume bars. Let me pull this up. See how the volume bars, sometimes they're higher, sometimes they're higher, sometimes they're lower. That changes with the price chart. When there's more price action, the volume bars will be higher, because with the higher the volume bar, that means there's more trading, and there's usually more trading when there's more price action happening. But when there's less price action happening, there will be less trade volume, because less people are trading. Okay. Now, NVIDIA joined a $30 billion investment in OpenAI. I'm reading this off of TradingView right behind me, with about $110 billion round announced in the infra deal to deploy tens of gigawatts of NVIDIA systems for the next generation models inside up to 100 billion potential support. So there's that. Volume wise, 155.7 million. Market cap is 4.4 trillion. And if we go here to earnings, look at the earnings side quarterly. Quarterly right there. If you're looking for the short term for quarterly, that's okay. And see at 1ZFL Swarm, get good. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but thanks for the comment. Yeah. For those of you joining, for those of you here, welcome. Hope you're enjoying the show. Q4, Q3, and Q2 all beat the earnings expectations that Wall Street put out, so that looks strong for the company. And then annually, right here, 2025 is stronger than expected for earnings expectations as a year as a whole. This is NVIDIA. Same thing with 2024 and 2023. So NVIDIA, to summarize, all of the last 3 years were stronger than Wall Street's expectations. Yeah. And how does NVIDIA compare for their profits and income? Well, annually, click the annual button, you'll see the last 3 years right behind me, 2023, 2024, and 2025. All 3 years were better than expected for revenue, profit, operating income, and net income, okay? So that's NVIDIA. Now, let's take a look here at let's go back here to Palantir. Palantir, just to summarize this one, for example, Palantir's technology, according to this article on CNBC, gives the Palantir's technology gives the West a critical edge in the Middle East, according to the CEO. It says Palantir's Maven is a real-time AI surveillance capability that leverages satellite imagery. The platform was also used in Venezuela, and 3 Amazon data centers were bombed last week in the Middle East, and Palantir is known for its defense technology. Commercial business is also booming. Commercial revenue jumped up 137% in the fourth quarter to 507 billion, which is now the shares are up 12% on the month. Again, this is just the news. This is not a political channel, just sharing the news. So there's that. And now let's take a look here at Palantir. Palantir. That's the 1 minute chart. Here is Palantir. Palantir on the 1 day chart. Here we go. Okay, here we are, Palantir on the 1 day chart. Again, looking down here at the RSI, you're sitting at about 55, 56 for the RSI, which is very, very neutral. And you can see Palantir just actually came back from being very, very oversold. You can see here, right here, it's very, very neutral. Right here, it's very, very oversold. It just came back from that. Let me pull this over here so you can see it better. Yeah. So right there, sitting neutrally, just coming back from being oversold. And you can see that here in the price chart, it reflects it as well. Came down here, it's oversold, now it bounces back up right there. And what do you see? How does that reflect? Well, if you zoom in a little bit, right here, you see a double bottom, and it goes up, right? And then right here, you can see, here's an example of a head and left shoulder, right shoulder. Here's a head and shoulder pattern with the neckline, but it doesn't break out the neckline because normally a head and shoulder will break out and go down. Here it just stays the same. Okay, so there's that. Here's the head, here's the left shoulder, here's the right shoulder, and then breaks out and goes down, right? And also, for example, here is a reverse head and shoulders. This one, Palantir, doesn't have as many double tops or double bottoms, it seems, as more of a head and shoulders. So that's what I mean, they're all patterns, all charts have different patterns. Here's the reverse head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then there's your neckline. This one does break out and go up. You see that? The reverse head and shoulders breaks out and goes up. The normal head and shoulders is supposed to break out and go down. And let me show you here's the 1 minute chart. Sometimes you can get a different information from this when you zoom in and zoom out. Sometimes not really, but let's try it. Again, you can change your time frame patterns there to see different things. Here's one right here. You can kind of see this one here. Here's the 1 minute. I want to show you this pattern. Here's your head right here. Here's your left shoulder. Here's your right shoulder. And then head and shoulders. And this one does break out and go down. You can kind of see that one. So there's a little bit of a heads up on that. And let me take you back over here. Here's your double bottom right here. Double bottom. This one doesn't break out much. I just wanted to show you the pattern. They don't always break out. But let's go over here. And yeah, let's go to the fundamentals now. You can see the trade volume increases right there, increases. So here's the trading volume, okay? Now, for example, volume right now is at 55.4 million. Market cap's at 367 billion. And here, quarterly and annually for the earnings right there, you can see for Palantir, Q4, Q3, and Q2, all the earnings, see the blue boxes, those are the recorded earnings. They're all higher than the expectations. So for the quarter, that's looking good. And annually here, let's go right here. Annually, you'll see 2025, 2024, 2023, all 3 years to summarize. For example, 2023 was equal to the expectations, 24 and 25 beat it. So it either equaled it or beat it, okay? Now, that's the earnings. How does it compare to, how does this Palantir earnings chart compare with the profits and income? Well, right here, if we click on annual, look behind me, you'll see 2023, 2024, and 2025. All of those are in the green, looking good. So revenue, gross profit, operating income, pre-tax income, and net income were all green, looking good, okay? And that's on the statements for Palantir. And they don't always end up that way. Sometimes the statements look good, the earnings look bad. Sometimes the earnings look better, sometimes the statements look worse. So that's why you have to look at all pieces of the puzzle to kind of have an idea of what's going on there, okay? Done. And then let's go back here to this. Erase this. Okay, that's Palantir. Now let's have a little bit of an update about Google. Why are we looking at Google? Well, because Google is bringing more AI to navigation with Ask Maps. It's a feature that lets users ask complex questions, launching a new chatbot feature inside the most popular map app to have personalized questions. With more than 2 billion monthly users, Google Maps is the world's top navigation app. 20 years old, and Google Maps makes money by selling ads and promoted placements to businesses. It also charges for its maps and APIs and location data. And no, this is not a script. This is my own notes for the day. I encourage you to do the same, and hope you're enjoying it. Yes. Pontoon, you look very nicely, very clean cut and professional. Thank you very much. I'll take that as a compliment. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. And I hope you're enjoying some of the content as well. If you have a ticker or something that you want, let me know. Yes, thanks for the follows, thanks for the likes. Any more flattery is also welcome. Flattery will get you everywhere. But yeah, having said that, let's take a look here at Google. An update on their maps. whether if you're someone that likes privacy, maybe this map idea is not a good thing for you. But if you're someone that doesn't care about privacy, well, maybe it's okay. But yeah, having said that, Google Maps is now 20 years old. It is the world's leading navigation app. So let's take a look here at Google right here. Here we go. Okay. And that's the 1 minute chart. Here's the 1 day chart. Okay, let me adjust the time frames a little bit so this is more clear. Thank you very much for the likes. Pontoon Jody, I love it, I love it. Gotta have a sense of humor, and I do. Thanks for the gift, good times. And happy Friday. Let's see, let me show you this time chart. Let me adjust the time here a little bit. Okay, looking here at the 1 day, you'll see that right here, the RSI right here is sitting at 41, and let's see, did I miss anything else? For those of you, Muscle Daddy, hello everyone joining. This is the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and we make it fun. Welcome, Pi. Yes, thanks, Pontoon Jody. Okay, here's the RSI right behind me. You can see that right there. It's sitting at 41, 42. It's still pretty neutral. And this is Alphabet. It just came down from a peak here, and you can see how the price chart came down. It's also reflected here on the RSI. You see the correlation. Now, what I also want you to see is that how overbought Google was just right over here. It was super overbought for a while before ever market corrected and came down. That's why I say, what is the price of gas? Why is the price of gas going up? Well, there's several factors that could be working in play. Some of them are political, and some of them, again, this is the educational. I don't want to get political on this channel, but part of the reason could be the Strait of Hormuz over there, where they've basically set up the Strait of Hormuz has 20 or 30% of the world's oil coming in and out of there. And if there is, how do I say, chaos or distress over there, the Strait of Hormuz, 20 or 30% of the world's oil supply could be causing some, different price change at the gas pump. Well, I didn't want to say that, but yeah, that could be part of it. Glayon, Spinky, that's true. I'm trying to be a little bit more politically correct, but yeah, that could be a large factor for sure. But I don't want to say that's the only factor, but that's probably a big one. You're welcome very much. Okay, and looking here, let's see if I can get you some more chart patterns here. Oh, here, as I look at this, zoom in, zoom out. Here's a head and shoulders. I want you to see on this that these head and shoulders don't always have straight necklines and shoulders. So, like for example, here you see a shoulder, and this is like a diagonal neckline right there. Head and shoulders with a diagonal neckline, and then let's see over here. You will have, this is the 1 day chart. Here is right here the double bottom, and then let me give you some more. Here we are. Over here you see basically this is a triple right here. Basically you have a 1, 2, and a 3. 1, 2, and a 3, a triple bottom, and then bang, it goes up there. Hello. Yes. Now there's, again, I put that on a 1 day. You can also change it to a 1 minute, because the 1 minute will also allow you to see different patterns. If you zoom in, zoom out, and change the time, you'll be able to see different things here too. Depending on the chart pattern that you're looking for, the 1 day, the 1 minute might be better. It all depends on what you're looking for. But that's that. I wanted to also, before go to the fundamentals, click over here. I want you to see how when you have this changing price chart, look at these bars down here. For example, the bars down here, when these bars go up, the higher they are, that's the trading volume going up, and you'll see the ones that go high, that's when you have more price action on that day generally, okay? So keep that in mind. Yeah, and that being said, I will be back later for another stream, but if you enjoyed the stream, catch me later. I'll be back. Thank you for the likes, thank you for the comments, and if you like to see me analyze a different ticker or something, just leave it in the comments, and I'll be back later. Thank you all very much.